Bueno, with ciudadanos and fellow citizens, I'm here before you. It almost looks like I've killed someone. What a mess this is. Don't worry, because I'm going to explain everything, so you can see with total clarity and complete transparency what happened and what I did, which is no different from what I've done throughout my entire professional life. Anyway, I'll also tell you that here, well, whoever doesn't want to listen won't listen, whoever doesn't want to understand won't understand, and whoever wants to insult will do so. But well, I'm speaking in this video for people who can handle more than just one TikTok video, more than 20, 30 seconds. For people who, I insist, want to understand. And those who don't, well, they'll leave as soon as possible. They'll insult and they'll have that thing already stuck in their heads. There's this whole traitor thing here and all that. Let's start and I'll explain. Welcome, Madridistas. How are you? How are you doing? First of all, I'm going to show you this video and ask you a question beforehand, which is the following. Tell me if they're buying my opinion with this video, which is from yesterday, and I've made this little summary. The video is longer, but this is in a shorter reel that I posted this morning. But the video, I insist, is from yesterday. Tell me if they're buying my opinion, because if they are, they're doing a very bad job. What do you want me to say? I like what Florentino is offering, but I don't know what the other candidate will say. Those 4 names are red lines for me, and I'd love to ask him about them. I would love for someone who can interview him, well, Florentino himself, to ask him, what are you going to do? What are you going to do with the Negreira issue, and by extension with Laporta, with Mr. Tebas, and since they're talking a lot about him, with Mr. Miguel Angel Gil. Me, with these 3, I include Laporta with Negreira. As a member and fan of Real Madrid, but especially as a member because I can vote, I don't want to hear anything other than absolute and total opposition. I already know what Florentino's stance is on all these issues now. The feud with Miguel Angel Gil from Atletico de Madrid, who we don't even want to see around, the thing with Laporta, the thing with Negreira, and of course the thing with Tebas. And what do you want me to say? I like what one of the candidates, Florentino, is offering me, but I don't know what the other one is going to say. I want them to talk to me and tell me in this electoral process. That's a question for this gentleman. Be equally forceful with both. I mean, if this gentleman comes in with really good ideas, with an amazing signing and all that, well, it looks good, but then he says about the Negreira case, maybe just imagine that we should forget about it or not go any further with the dossier to UEFA and FIFA, or that with Tebas we have to make up and let bygones be bygones, or that Miguel Angel Gil is a good guy and I don't know what else. No, I won't go along with that. And I still won't go along with it. They're buying me off very badly. Because in the ABCs of how to buy someone off, not in Florentino's ABC newspaper, I mean, the basic rules for when someone wants to buy you off, the opinion is, well, don't say this. That's rule number 1. And don't talk about this other thing. That's rule number 2. Well, in yesterday's video too, I answered, and I talked about this. It's from a few hours ago. The company of Enrique Riquelme, Florentino's rival, fires 2 former top executives of Aldesa, the construction company that paid Zapatero's network. And if we look into the news, it says this: Alejandro Fernandez and Miguel Lopez de Foronda, former CEO and former CFO of Aldesa, have left Cox suddenly after the scandal was uncovered. Here it says that Riquelme's company fires these 2 gentlemen. I read elsewhere, possibly in El Confidencial, that these 2 men have resigned. In any case, it's something complicated after what happened yesterday with Zapatero, the indictment of the former Spanish prime minister. These 2 gentlemen absolutely had something to do with it, right? With Enrique Riquelme, they were able to act quickly, but these are things that remain. These are things that stay there. Let's see if he officially announces his candidacy. Those things linger. Why do they linger? If they were buying me off properly, I wouldn't have said what I said in the previous video, and I wouldn't have commented on the other thing, because it doesn't look good for this man's candidacy, right? All right, let's go over the timeline. This is what happened, okay? I'm going to share this from the other day with you. When was this? Sunday, May 10th. Sunday, May 10th. Remember when Florentino Perez's press conference happens. I've had to cover up names here, of course, and key things, but just so you can see how this production company contacted me, and I'm already, well, anyway, more than used to being contacted by production companies, TV stations, etc., to collaborate. When they ask you to collaborate, it's just a one-time collaboration. Like Real Madrid TV not long ago, where I said a few things. Well, a few months ago, where I said a few things, by the way, that they deleted, that they removed, with Real Madrid TV, but it was just one time. If Real Madrid TV back in the day had told me, hey, Miguel, we want you to do a series of shows for us, a series of collaborations, more than one, and so on, then we would have talked about money. Naturally, who works for free? Who works for free? There's a family to support, and so on, right? And besides, I've been a journalist and working in the media, even though a lot of people have only known me in the last 5 years because of the channel, but I've been around here since, at least speaking on the radio, since around the year 2000, 2001. A production company contacted me, as I mentioned. I've removed names for obvious reasons. It's just common sense. And they tell me the following: Sunday, May 10th, Florentino Perez's press conference, Tuesday, May 12th. And they say to me, hey, it's for a Real Madrid show to talk about Real Madrid news. Call me tomorrow and I'll tell you. Okay, but is it starting or is it already underway? I ask. And no, the conversation continues. No, it's going to start this coming week, okay? Well, the next day, Monday, I had a phone conversation. You can't complain that I'm not being transparent here, right? A phone conversation with someone from the production company, and then we exchange WhatsApp messages. The person who was supposed to set up the meeting with me, right? He says, hello, Miguel, this is so-and-so. Here's the address, such and such street, Wednesday the 13th at 1 o'clock. He's telling me this on Monday, May 11th, okay? Monday, May 11th, Florentino hasn't spoken. I have to remind you of one thing. When Florentino speaks, when Florentino calls the press conference on Tuesday, a few hours before holding the press conference, it catches all of us completely by surprise, all of us. When I ask here, hey, but who is doing this? No, a group of Madrid fans, they tell me the people from the production company, but the production company calls me and says, Miguel Serrano, it's a series of programs. Okay, perfect. It's not just one. No, a series of programs. How much? Well, this. Damn, of course, it's what I've done my whole life. Absolutely. And one very important thing. They don't tell me you have to make a post, nor do they dictate what I have to say in that post. On Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, or wherever. They tell me shows to talk about Real Madrid. Period. That's it. All right? I swear on my son. Well, so of course they called me on Monday to go on Wednesday at 1 to record at this place. And on Tuesday, we have Florentino's press conference. And my going to Florentino's press conference is absolutely genuine. Saying, well, but this man, what is he saying? He's right about many things, but what is this man telling me? I mean, well, anyway, you already saw it, right? You already saw my reaction. No, I didn't like it. Some people might think I was already taking sides or something. Look, in the month of January, I lost a lot of subscribers, and in the total count from January until now, it's been about, I don't know, maybe 1,000, 1,300 more or less, right? Of course, it's tough, but I've always said here, I can't say what people want to hear. I'm sorry. And I insist, anyone who saw me at that Florentino press conference would have seen me react in a genuine way, and also in a way that was consistent. Just like how I had made previous videos about Florentino, fix the locker room, man, or leave, because, well, you've done some really good things for Real Madrid, but the sports management in the last 2 years hasn't been good, right? I already had that stance. Well, I'm going to show you out of curiosity so you can see, but just a moment. I have it here somewhere. Look, my drop in subscribers. This is from, look, the other day at Florentino's press conference, okay? I lost like 100, almost 140 in one day there. And these are from yesterday. I mean, where is this going, right? The little downward arrow, the line below is from the last few hours. It's not worth it for me. It's not worth it for me to be in this position, right? For those who now claim I'm just repeating what I'm told, right? And now I'll also explain why it's not worth it for me, for example, not to support Florentino. Well, so I'm going to record there on Wednesday the 13th. And of course, the first thing we do when we arrive is talk about, hey, Florentino's press conference yesterday, oh my God, and all that. Look, nobody tells me anything at all. I still don't know who they are, the ones from Código Real. I still don't know who they are. I only talk to the production company. I swear on my son, I only talk to the production company, and I'm told nothing. Just talk about what happened yesterday with Florentino. When the camera turns on, I could have said, Florentino is awesome. And that would have been it. That would have been it. That's another matter. I don't know how many posts they had made or whatever, but I said what I said because that's what I thought. In fact, and this wasn't that day, this was yesterday when we recorded as well. I quote Pedro Morata, who they've said, by the way, supports Riquelme through a website, and I don't know what else. And Pedro Morata in that show, recording for Código Real, when I was there yesterday with Fran Carrillo, by the way, Fran Carrillo, who was also there, telling me things he had already told me on my channel about Florentino. In some of them, I didn't agree with Fran, and in some, I still don't agree with Fran. Fran Carrillo is very direct with Florentino, and he's been like this for a long time. And those of you who follow the channel have already seen it, but I've been talking to Fran, collaborating with him for how long now? For more than a year and a half, almost 2 years, a year and a half. Well, in that same program, if they say that Riquelme supports Pedro Morata, I have no idea. I criticize Pedro Morata harshly. I say, this guy has written terrible articles against Vinicius. He's shameless and all that. Nobody says anything to me. Nobody says anything to me. I'm told nothing at all. I'm now discussing editorial lines, which is a separate issue. I mention this because some people make YouTube videos without leaving their rooms or understanding how the media or journalism works. You don't need journalism to communicate, but you do need it to navigate this whole scene. But anyway, like I said, I swear I haven't talked to them. I mean, with the people who organize Código Real. I only talked to the production company, which doesn't demand anything from me. And maybe I'm being a sucker because, of course, now El Confidencial publishes the stuff about Haaland and about Klopp and someone else too. They could have told me if I were part of these people's campaign, if I were being paid by them. Damn, because how easy would it be to tell me, Miguel, leak the stuff about Haaland and Klopp, go on, put it out there. So easy, right? Damn, well, either they're not paying me enough or I don't know. I haven't commented on Haaland or Klopp because I don't know and haven't spoken to anyone about them. I've only talked to the production company, and the production company is a business, and a group of people pay them an amount to produce something, and they produce it and call me, hey, do you want to? All right, more than one, you pay me, okay? That's how this works. Well, besides, another thing, you won't see me in these videos, you won't see me in these Código Real videos saying absolutely anything about asking anyone for their vote. None of that. You can see them. There are some long programs and there are the posts. I'm not asking for a vote for either Florentino or Enrique Riquelme. I'm returning to the video I showed you earlier. In fact, I'm talking about this man's red lines for which, if he's not clear, he won't have my vote, but we still haven't heard him talk about this yet. I'm making it clear in that video, right? Well, about the editorial line of the media. Of course, they have one. For example, Fernando Garria is a good journalist from El País and Cadena Ser. About the Zapatero issue, that's the editorial line. Well, not might think, it is. At CR and at the newspaper El País, it is what it is. You already know what it's like. Well, this gentleman says, look, the people who said this comes from the Manos Limpias Union and not from the Anti-Corruption Prosecutor's Office have lied. This is very serious. The ruling is very serious, and so on. Of course, even if a media outlet has a certain editorial line, there are still journalists there who are more or less independent. I remember that on that show. Look, Pablo Iglesias is La Tuerca from years ago. People from the right would go there to talk, people who were on the opposite side. It wasn't like that. I mean, just because they went there and got paid, does that mean we think they thought the same as Pablo Iglesias? No. I'll keep going with these people from Código Real because the production team treats me very well, because they don't tell me what I have to say there, and because I've already agreed with them on a series of shows, of course. And you're going to hear me there saying exactly the same thing I say on my channel, exactly the same, exactly the same. If anyone claims I'm saying different things, let them show proof. It's not true. I'm saying the same thing everywhere. Everything comes from me, about how I process information and about me and my pure and unwavering opinion. And there's one distinction we need to make. When I worked at beIN Sports, at Televisión Española, or at La Sexta, they did impose things on me. They imposed things on me, but it's different. You're in a company where you're just a salaried employee, and they tell you, careful, careful, don't say certain things because tomorrow you could be out on the street, of course. How could I take risks at Televisión Española back then? I didn't have a family, but still, you can't afford to lose your job. Same at La Sexta, and especially at beIN Sports. Miguel, seriously, watch what you say. Be cautious when discussing Paris Saint-Germain, as the owners of beIN Sports also own the club. And it didn't occur to me. Sometimes I was a bit borderline. I skirted the line a bit of what was acceptable, but it didn't occur to me because I had and still have a wife and a son. And I didn't want to complicate my life, of course. But I insist that's different. For paid collaborations, if tomorrow they say I can't say this, I say pay me for what I've already done and I'm out. Of course, that's how this works. Would I go to Real Madrid television? Of course, if they invite me. Sure, if they ask me, I'll go. But anyway, I already did it, as I mentioned before. I went to Real Madrid television. Look, Miguel, what do you think about the issue with the referees and about the whole Negreira thing and all that? And I remember this was a few months ago that when they asked me about the referees and then they aired it, I said, listen, I said the same thing I say on my channel. Listen, that Florentino, until recently, was a buddy of which one? Dije lo mismo que digo en mi canal. Because we haven't gone all in there. Why not? I said it on Real Madrid television while they were recording me, but they chose a clip that left that part out. Honestly, here, let's see if you also think that those who are paid by Real Madrid television are also paid by them. Why this Gestapo? Why these SS? Why this Madridista jihad to destroy us now? Some people, and I'm admitting it here, I'm getting paid to do this. Of course, but I'll repeat it since people may use short clips for a production company. I don't know the people who make Código Real despite everything I've just said, right? But there are good and bad ones. They've put us in that bad guy role, right? They've put us in that bad guy role. They've put us in that bad guy role. You know something? I've got everything here well prepared and all. Florentino paid me. Of course, Florentino paid me. Florentino paid me, look, a few years ago. Hey, and if he had said it to me again, if he had offered me something again, well, maybe I would have accepted, but why not? I hosted the Real Madrid Foundation Gala for 2 years in a row. This is from 2012. I had also hosted the one in 2011. How are you? Good evening. Does this need improvement? There is Florentino. My goodness. Wow. The possibilities that Nessun Dorma gives, it's incredible. A song that plays before every match at the Bernabeu and gives you goosebumps. What a way to start this gala. Well, there I was with Florentino, and he paid me. Anyway, as I was saying, it works out better for me. It's more convenient for me to side with the candidacy with Florentino, but I repeat the same thing. It's just that Florentino... Let me see if I can pick up the thread again. What I want to get to here is Florentino. That's it. That works better for me, but I haven't asked for a vote for Florentino or Riquelme. And why would that work out better for me? Because what Florentino is telling me is that with the new Real Madrid membership model, he's giving me, as a member, $100,000. Damn, $100,000. If I look further ahead, I say, no, I want Florentino to win. But I don't want that. I want Florentino to explain to me how he's going to do that, because I have my doubts, naturally. Florentino hasn't explained this well from the start, and many members feel the same way, and I don't understand it. It's just that my membership fee, my participation in Real Madrid, since I'm a member, ever since my father, by the way, took me to the Bernabeu when I was 3 years old. He made me a member at about that age, maybe slightly older. I mention this for those who might doubt I'm a Real Madrid fan. I've been a Real Madrid fan since the first time I went to the Bernabeu, and I've been a member for a really long time, of course. I'm already 47, almost 48. So imagine, at least 45 years. So soon I'll have been a member for 50 years. Me? Soon, in a few years, right? But anyway, damn, so I'll keep the 100,000, and I say, why should I commit to the other one, right? Anyway, I'm telling you that I collaborate with anyone who asks me. Look, I collaborated with Ciro. Ciro, hey, hi. Do you want to come one day? Okay. I went one day with Ciro Lopez. Okay, fine. Do you want to come another day? Damn, Ciro, how many times? No, more times. Every week? Okay, fine. Well, he pays you. You don't even have to ask him, right? So I went with Ciro, and Ciro paid me. With those people, wait, I have it here. They're really good people. In Miami with the guys from Lubox TV, I have a great time with them, discussing the World Cup and other football topics. Hey, Miguel, are you coming? Joining in? Perfect. Well, it's the same. I'm saying this for anyone who thinks, right? Like, Miguel never leaves his room to do his channel and doesn't collaborate with anyone. And what a coincidence. Now he's collaborating with these guys. I've been collaborating with people for a long time. But anyway, there are things coming for the World Cup. I'm telling you, things are coming for the World Cup. So that's why I'm really happy. And I'll tell you what it is soon. Anyway, just to wrap up, since it's been more than 20 minutes, I'm telling you, this is going to be the first and only time I'm going to talk about this. I think I've explained it. Whoever has made it this far, I think will understand. Maybe I haven't convinced everyone, but at least, look, he's blonde, Rubiales in that photo. He's blonde, Rubiales. And Ana Botella, maybe I haven't convinced everyone, okay? But at least I appreciate that you've made it this far and listened, and that my side of the story is understood. If you still think what you already thought, that's fine. That's fine. But at least I'm going to appreciate it. Not like those who watch this for 2 or 3 seconds at the beginning and say, you're a sellout, a traitor, whatever, and bark and bray, right? So whoever wants to understand and wants to stay, let them understand and stay. And whoever wants to insult, well, they're going to do it. Thanks a lot. See you next time. Bye.